Alright guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, shout out to all the subscribers. Much love to you, and thank you to anybody new locked in as well. Gratitude to you. Okay, and this video was supposed to be a live video. I've just been trying to go live for the last hour, but it's not quite working out. So I'm going to talk about Oscar Collazo's win on Friday and Xander Zayas, his performance last night. And I'll try to go live earlier in the week to get a little test run so I can go live for the Matthias Paro fight on Saturday. So this video is going to be a bit quicker without any editing, so apologies for that. I love to take my time and really get the best version of the content to you so I can talk about stuff and bring up highlights and stuff like that. You know, that's part of the channel's ethos. If you're new to the channel, usually I show quite a bit of footage, and I enjoy doing that because it kind of helps the viewer understand at least what I'm talking about. But for this one, I've got this film study to do, so I need to get on with it. But anyway, let's talk about Oscar Collazo, right? In a win that he fought on Friday. And thank you to anybody that reminded me about him fighting. And I always appreciate when people jump in the comments and give me a bit of news or remind me about this or that. I've been familiar about him. I haven't really watched a lot of him. I'll be 100% honest. I found out a bit about him through a channel called Miracle Boy Boxing. Shout out to you if you're locked in, bro. Great channel. And I watched him when he had a sit-down chat interview, whatever you want to call it, with True School Sports. I don't want to say a month or 6 or 7, 8 weeks ago, something like that. But I heard about Collazo when he won the title. He's the fastest Puerto Rican to win a world title. He's 105 pounds, I think it's minimum weight. But so my knowledge on the smaller weights isn't great, I'll be honest with you. But after watching him a little bit before I made this video and before I watched his fight, because I really wanted to get involved and see what he was up to, very impressive guy. Wow, he's had over 150 amateur fights. He won the title, I think, in his 7th or 8th fight. He looked pretty good last night, right? Let's talk about the fight against Gerald Zapata. And look, Zapata actually hurt Collazo in the second round. He caught him with a beautiful shot he didn't see coming. He was a southpaw, but I think it was a right hook. It was a weird punch, a looping shot. Collazo didn't see it. And the punches you don't see really hurt the most. They absolutely do. You know, I'd love to actually look into a deeper reason. I've been punched in the face before when I haven't seen it in an amateur fight and in sparring, and I can absolutely attest to this. And I'm trying to figure out, I know why. It's because your brain isn't ready for it, right? You're just not ready for it, and you just don't see it coming, and then bam, it feels like a train just hit you, and you're like, what the hell? But as to why you can mentally, because Andre Ward was talking about this too, about mentally how you can take a punch, right? How you can just say, right, I'm going to mentally take this. You can do that, right? And obviously your conditioning can help you take a punch and your natural ability. But when you're not looking and you get hit, it just blindsides you, and it's just a sharp shot. You're like, what the hell just happened there? That was one of those shots. But how he reacted to that was amazing, because one, and again, I'd love to show the footage, but you know, next time I will, I promise. But the way his athleticism was able to like maneuver, he got caught bang on the chin and he didn't see it, and he was able to not go down because of his athleticism and probably his conditioning, but his just balance and his ability to like I said, not go down. But then how he managed the rest of that round was impressive. Wow. Because he understood he needed to get his legs back. He needed to box a little bit. He threw a few punches, a couple of jabs, but he was on the move and tying up a little bit. But he did. To do that, like when you're hurt, and you know, it was very, very, very impressive, even despite getting hurt and looking like he was in a bit of trouble. But he really managed that superbly. I was very impressed by that. The athleticism and his ability to get through the round, and then after that, see the fight out and actually control the fight intelligently, ease his way. He's a tremendous fighter. Wow. He looks like just a solid boxer, but when I say solid, he just looks like he works, lives the life, trains extremely hard. You can see it in his physique. I mean, he gets the best out of himself, and if you're new to the channel, that is a massive part of it. And after watching a few interviews with him and looking into it a bit deeper, I'm like, this guy is a special talent. He really is. And I wish I'd got onto him earlier. You know, I really did. I'll be honest, there's a few factors in boxing that I'm not so well versed on. The lower weights is one, women's boxing's another. Although I will be covering a lot more of Amanda Serrano because I think she's amazing. But, you know, it's such a deep sport. I can't cover everything. I'm sure there's a lot of boxing fans here that don't know as much about the little weights, you know. It is what it is, but I'll be doing a lot more videos about him, and I'm actually going to put a little music piece together for him with highlights and just try to, you know, push it out a little bit and get a really nice little. I did one for Amanda Serrano with just highlights and music and stuff like that. I'll do one for Collazo for sure. Hopefully I got the pronunciation right on that. But look, really good mature performance after getting stunned. Held it together. He's got a beautiful punch selection. He's a good body puncher. He's got a beautiful right hook, counter punching, good jab. He's a really good fighter. And he's with Koto Promotions, right? They were there last night, I think. It was upstate, and you know, he's got a bright future. You know, he's with Golden Boy and Koto Promotions, you know, Ivan Calderon is his mentor, which is, you know, I think they sparred for like a round. I think Gabe Rosado was saying Calderon still got it, which is amazing. But what a mentor to have. So that's you know, a beautiful victory last night, and he saw out the fight well after coming in trouble like a champion. You know, he's a champion, and he fought like a champion, and he didn't go down like a champion, and he saw the round out like a champion, and he fought the rest of the fight smartly. Putting the pressure on with that front foot pressure, but without selling out too much. Got the job done. Very impressive stuff. Xander Zayas, okay, good performance last night against a cagey, wily, tricky veteran fighter, Patrick Teixeira, who's, by the way, his mother passed away a couple of days ago. Tragically, I don't know the story, but I guess when I say tragically, I didn't mean to. I don't know the circumstances. I just mean that's tragic for you to be fighting 2 days after that happened. Xander Zayas, being the gentleman that he is, mentioned that post-fight. He is really a lovely human being, you know. I mean, what a charismatic, lovely guy to say stuff like that and give him credit. And, you know, it's like, I just love hearing stuff like that. You know, he's a respectful dude, and he fights well, and he fought a good fight last night. It wasn't always like eye-catching or eye-pleasing, but that wasn't his fault. It was Patrick Teixeira, very negative but very wily. I mentioned pre-fight I thought it would go to points because he really knows his way around the ring. He knows he was slipping and sliding and just a little bit out the way. I know he was getting tagged a little bit here and there, especially was the 8th and the 9th where, you know, his face was bloodying up and he was getting caught clean. Actually in the second too, Xander, I said it would probably go to points. It might be a late stoppage, but he also might get him out there early in a virtuoso performance. But after the second round, I was thinking, this is like Teixeira just looked a little bit older. You know, he didn't look, you know, like he had a great deal of desire. But as I said, he really knows how to slip and slide. I think I used the word fandangle his way through a fight, and that's what he did. Meaning, you know, and Zayas said this post-fight, he's like, he's just a little bit out of the way. I tried to land this, and he was like tucking his body in here, slipping, rolling with the punches. You know, it's cute stuff, really, when you do have a talented, young, fresh, hungry guy like Zayas throwing punches at you, you still don't get knocked out for 12 rounds. I mean, it reminded me of that Jared Anderson fight the other day against Mari. I forget his name, but, you know, he had skills defensively, and that's another side of boxing that Teixeira has. And if you can focus on that, and he was obviously trying to pop shot him, ducking down and trying to loop that shot in. Didn't really look at any point Teixeira was really able to do anything, you know, of damaging note. So it was always just going to be one-way traffic. But nonetheless, I think it's good to get those rounds in. I thought Zayas looked all right. I think he was desperate for the knockout. I think there will be good experience rounds. You know, it's good to get 10 rounds in. And he said, I'm not sure who said this to him, maybe a top-ranked promoter or a CEO or something. Before you go 12, you got to go 10, which is actually getting 10 rounds in, no matter how you look or not. Well, obviously if you win, but the valuable experience is what I mean. 10 rounds against a veteran, headlining the show. I mentioned pre-fight that he would be under a little bit of pressure, and some guy in the comments laughed at that, really, because he does look like he's not really under pressure. But all I was saying is, like, fighters have pressure. You know, like you've got promoters that are expecting you to win. You've got your family there. You've got a whole, you know, your fan base there. I say a whole crowd. It was at the theatre, so still a good few thousand in there. They're coming to see you, but put on a good performance. You're putting pressure on yourself. He cares so much about appeasing the fans that you've got to give yourself a little bit of pressure. That's all I was saying. I don't think it's a bad thing, but he dealt with it well. And it was a really good performance against, you know, a wily, cagey veteran. Yeah, who's not the same fighter he was, but good experience. And I was saying pre-fight, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if he had a bit of adversity in this fight, because at some point you're gonna have to go through that to get it out the way. But it didn't happen. It didn't even look close to happening, to be honest. He was in full control, and you know, he just couldn't get the stoppage. But I don't blame him, because when you have, like I said, a guy that knows how to defend themselves, and that's really all they're trying to do. He wasn't very creative offensively, Teixeira, and he was very, very negative. So it's really hard to get rid of those guys, which is why I thought we'd go on points ultimately. You know, I was like, yeah, they know their way they know their way around the ring. So post-fight, no, I thought it was a good performance from Xander. You know, there was Timothy Bradley had a bit of criticism post-fight, but there were times where he was praising him as well, and there were times where I guess he wanted him to use his jab a little bit more. The thing is, I was watching it, I was like, it's actually quite hard to, when like you have Teixeira who's constantly moving. It's the first southpaw he's ever fought, and he was just a little bit out of range. You know, he really was quite master. Maybe master is a strong word, but just using his range and using his defense, making it harder for you to mount your offense with the jab. And I think Xander mentioned it post-fight about fighting southpaws, that he has to do a few things. So amazing to learn, because in the 154-pound division you do have Bud Crawford, if they're going to ever meet down the line, but that's probably unlikely. But southpaw, Fondora southpaw, Lubin southpaw. So this is good to get that experience in. He also called out Josh Kelly, which I think is a fantastic fight. UK, very talented young man. I'm not totally convinced he's championship level, although I think that's a great test for both of them, because Josh Kelly from England, actually, Newcastle, or Sunderland, which is all the way north, but he's talented. He was an Olympian. He's got super fast hands, very athletic and very flashy style. But I wonder if, when the tough gets going, if he can really overcome somebody like Zayas. I would probably favour Zayas in that. I really would. You know, and I'm from England, and I've obviously split here because I love covering Puerto Rican fighters. You know, everybody knows that, and shout out to the Puerto Ricans. And I've long said for a while that, you know, my affinity for that culture really, it stems a long way, and I'll speak about it in the future videos, because there's been many blessings in my life that have come from that country. So that's, I'll be picking the guy that I think is going to win, and I think it's going to be Xander Zayas, probably on points, maybe a late stoppage. But that fight's there. The Conor Benn fight also, he called out Lubin as well, which I spoke about. But those are great fights, and that's the type of step-up fight after this fight that makes a lot of sense. Josh Kelly and Conor Benn, big fight in the UK. Although, I don't think they should do it in the UK. Conor Benn can't even fight there. Have Conor Benn come here, or Josh Kelly. I don't know where they're going to fight. Maybe if the Saudis get involved, who knows? Boxing's all over the place right now. But just in terms of fantasy matchups or potential matchups, those are good fights. That 154-pound division is so good. But look, that's it. I was going to talk about Paro and Matias, but I've really got to get back to doing this film study. I've been talking about it so long, and I promised it to be out. I promised it to be out today. I've got about 4 or 5 hours left. It's looking pretty good. I hope it gets past the YouTube censorship laws. I think it will. I put a bit in the other day, and thank you to anybody that's watched any of those Keys to Victory or any videos and liked and commented or didn't like. It's all good. I really appreciate it. I've got so much gratitude for the people that have been tuning in and showing some love in the comments. You know, I really have. I'm going to take this channel to as best as I possibly can and get the best content I possibly can, and every single week and try and get better and better and better and get the best out of myself. And that's ties into the fighters that I really put a lot of energy into following, like your Matias's, you know, like Tim Tszyu. now Xander. A lot of the Puerto Rican fighters, they do that, man. It's like, it's just an absolute blessing to the sport, because it just means we get better fights, really. But I will try to go live during the week. It'll probably be a test. I need to iron out a few things. I don't know what was going on. It's the second time I've tried to go live and it didn't work out. But, so I want to get these kinks ironed out of the way before I go live on the 15th for the actual main fight. I was trying to go to the island. I really was. Me and my lady were talking about it, you know, but she works late Friday night. The flights on Saturday were just like super early. The time there was like tight, and it just didn't quite make sense, unfortunately. Maybe next time, but I've got some exciting things coming for the channel as well that I can't wait to elaborate on. And you know, I've been speaking to some artists behind the scene. Rafi, shout out to you if you are watching, brother. I've got some really interesting music coming for the channel as well. I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna try and do my best, get this channel where you know, where I want it to be, and provide the best content. But I've been going on a little bit now. Appreciate anyone that's still locked in now. Peace and love to you. Have a great week. All right, Sunday, and well, it's the parade going on right now. Maybe you're at the parade, maybe you're watching this later. If you are, enjoy yourself, man, and have a great weekend and have a blessed week. Peace. I'm out.